Okay, wait, I lost my train of thought. Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Tracy.
Hey, it's Pasquale.
Today, I am going to pick his brain about crystals.
Woohoo! Crystals!
I love crystals. I am addicted to them, and I wear them in jewelry, and I have them all over the house everywhere. And so, but there's a lot that people don't know and they should know in using them, because it's not just about, putting a ring on or having one in the house somewhere. There's a little bit more to it. So I want you to give us some insight on, I guess first, how do we know what crystal we need?
Yeah, and I will tell you, so some of the things to recognize with crystals is that with crystals, there are a lot of genuine great places to buy crystals. But there are also people that sell fake crystals.
Oh, true.
And so it's super important to really kind of know where you're going to buy.
Yeah.
There are, it's unfortunate, but it's a reality that you will get a crystal and it's a piece of glass.
So make sure you find a reputable company that has, what would you look for? Good reviews?
Just a reputable company.
Ask around.
They know where they get their crystals from.
Okay.
You can tell that they honor their crystals. It's not in a basket that's just with 1,000 of them together.
Like at the swap meet.
Yeah, or there's a gas station that I visit regularly on the way to Palm Springs, and they have crystals, and you look at them.
Don't buy your amethyst at the gas station.
It could be right.
Note to
but
self.
There's a good chance that it's just someone bought a piece of glass that looks like a crystal. Exactly.
Oh
exactly.
God, that's so funny.
So when you're picking out your crystals, for me, what I've always done is there's a few things, right? First, I always go with sight, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the crystal and what are you feeling, seeing from it, right? Mm-hmm. If there's a vision, you'll just know because you'll see.
Whatever you're drawn to.
Exactly.
That feeling.
You'll like it, right? And so sight is number one. And then number two, I always say place the crystal in your hand and what do you feel, right? Really scan and kind of feel those feelings. What are you feeling? Mm-hmm. And if you like the way it looks and it feels good, it's great. It's the right crystal for you.
Okay. And size does not matter.
Size, not when it comes to crystals. It does not. In anything, it's all joke.
I think that's an important one.
No, it does not matter. You can get the smallest crystal to the biggest crystal,
yeah.
and in truth, they work exactly the same. Remember, crystals just storing energy, right? It's an energy from the world, the earth. The earth has created and stored this energy, vibrations. Some of them imprint. They actually imprint past generational things. But so you want to keep crystals, use them and find them and look for them. But
and they actually hold, the way I perceive it is they hold an energy and then that energy can bring us certain energies protection or love or happiness or courage or healing.
Yeah.
Those properties, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's a good way it's a great way to do it.
Okay.
And I can tell you, I actually have an experiment that I'm doing in the house. Mm-hmm. One of my most favorite crystals is black tourmaline. And the reason I love it is because it is just a crystal that just stops bad energy, right? And so it just kind of keeps your space clear. It's the most amazing, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of a little bit of a joke because if you go through my house, you will find them in certain places.
Yeah.
There's one right behind us on the shelf. There's one in the window. There's a few outside. And just to kind of keep the energy clean, safe, clear, right? But where my experiment comes in is if you go into the front of my house, there is, I live on a little bit of a curve, right? And so if you look at the curve, whenever there's a curve, energy flows, right? Mm-hmm. If the curve is there, energy will keep going straight, right? And it'll hit whatever is there. Mm-hmm. Well, in that spot in front of my house, I have a bunch of bushes. But the two that are hit by that curve are small, almost non-existent. And the ones around it are great. So what I did was, in one of the small ones, I put a big black tourmaline in there, and I did it not during snake season, just to be super clear. After November. I put it in the bush, and I was like, let's just see if the black tourmaline will cut that energy and help this bush grow.
Oh,
right. And then the other one, I didn't put anything.
Yeah.
And if you go out and look, and we can post a picture, but if you go out and look, the one with the black tourmaline is growing.
Oh, that is very
and
cool.
The one without is still small.
Wow.
And so it does its job.
We have rose quartz all over our property naturally, just in the yard. Well, you know that.
Arizona.
And but we have big ones when we have one in each flower bed and by all of the trees, especially the new ones. We have like even more by them. And it does seem to help them grow.
It totally does. And I will tell you, like, I know we didn't really talk or get there yet, but one of the things that I believe in is that when you have a crystal, if it breaks, right? So if you're wearing a bracelet and the bracelet breaks, or you drop it and it breaks, or you find it's broken. What I always say is that the energy is expended, and what you want to do, I replant them because they give it back to the earth, right? And so in every flower pot in my house, there is a broken crystal in there.
Oh, that's such a good
idea. And it's just a way for it'll start to connect with the earth energy, right? And do its job. And all the plants that have them are like growing.
Well, then you don't feel such a loss. Exactly. And like it's such a waste. You kind of feel like you're giving back, and it's still giving back to you as well.
Yeah, 100%. So that's what I do.
I have like my top, I think like 5 go-to crystals that I think are like kind of like the standard. Anybody asks me like, what do I start with? These are like the top 5 that I give, and you can give me your opinion on them. But I do a rose quartz, a clear quartz.
Well, let's talk about each one as you say it.
Okay.
Because rose quartz is amazing because it's self-love, right? Self-love, bring kind of that self-care back to yourself. I feel it's
like a being able to give and receive love. Would that be correct?
Yeah,
kind of like a catch-all.
It is. The color pink, the way it vibrates is pink is a color that very much is about loving yourself. And so, but if you love yourself, you can love others or other things, right? So you need that, and that rose quartz clicks in with that energy of self-love. I was going really fast because I got excited.
You got so excited about your self-love.
I love self-love. It's an important thing. If you don't love yourself, get some rose quartz.
I remember Teresa Giudice on Housewives. Love, love, love.
I never watched that show.
Addicted. Okay, so the next one is clear quartz, which that's really the catch-all, I think. And that to me is like happiness, joy. There's some protection and clarity in there too. There's kind of like a little bit of everything in there. Yeah,
clear quartz to me is very much a quartz that likes to, energy can flow through it. It conducts energy, right? It's clear, so it allows energy to move. I do agree that it can do a lot of things. The thing that I always point out to people about clear quartz, just quartz in general, right, is that a lot of times people say, oh, why is it now that I have a cell phone that my numbers are always the same, or these angel numbers are showing up, and like all of this is always happening, right?
Yeah.
And I always remind people, remember what they're made out of.
Right, quartz.
Phones are made out of quartz. Yeah. Most lights today are made out of quartz. So we have energy being conducted and moving from all different planes of existence through a quartz. So it's an amazing crystal. It's one of my favorites.
I have a client who's a total guy's guy, manly man, and he's a mechanic, and he came in one day. He's like, you know what? I decided I believe in the crystals. He's like, it's not like woo woo anymore. And I was like, and I just started laughing. I'm like, good for you, But he goes, no, I was actually helping somebody, and he was saying like, I guess there is a quartz in some of the operating machinery. Totally. I don't know, I'm not a mechanic, but it was a click to him, and he goes, oh wow, it was actually powering this engine, and he's like, I'm a believer now. Nice.
It conducts energy.
It's pretty cool.
Quartz conducts energy, and so when you see a quartz, just recognize it's everywhere. And so like it's like when people say, how do I get a reading through Zoom versus in person?
Oh yeah.
How is it that a Zoom one is just as good? Well, because we're using it through a quartz. We're connecting through a quartz energy, which allows that intuition, that psychic energy to move.
You never even like explained that piece of it. Like, I know it
I
works
do keep
'cause
some
I've done it with
secrets
you,
to myself.
but that's awesome. No, because that's a really popular question.
It
that
is.
we get.
It's the number one.
And people feel like they want to come in person because it's, it's better somehow. So
I always tell them, you're going to get the same me whether it's on a Zoom call or in person.
whether you can smack me in person or not.
I'm going to smack you through the Zoom. It's all the same.
Okay, so the next one would probably be black tourmaline. Tourmaline, in which you said earlier. So that to me is just like a protection of negative energy.
Yeah, if you find that like around the house, it's always great. Wherever there are a lot of points or corners, a black tourmaline is a great place to put it.
That's right.
Because it kind of blocks that energy.
Or doorways.
Doorways are amazing. Yeah. Typically the ins and outs.
I have them
Don't
in
forget your garage.
a little drawstring bag. I'm kind of like tapped into the inside of the doorway.
That's genius.
Yeah, because he told me about it.
But also you could put them under a bed.
Yeah,
right? Or
yes.
a pillow. So if you're having a lot of bad dreams or you feel like a lot of anxiety at night, putting a black tourmaline under your bed will help dissipate some of that energy.
When you're PMSing.
PMSing is a great one. Carry
Do you have
it in
some right
your
now?
pocket.
I need to eat
Yes,
it.
let me go get that. I'm gonna go get that. I'm gonna get that one off the shelf for you. It should be strong enough to handle it.
I need it. Okay, then the next one would be tiger's eye. And that to me is for like when you need courage, motivation, enthusiasm.
Grounding.
Right?
I use Tiger's
too.
Eye for grounding, so it's really connecting to earth energy.
Oh, good.
Right? And so it's a good way to
I
just
need that one
release, ground.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, so if you're someone who's got a lot of energy, like you're always on the go, or ADHD, Tiger's Eye, it brings you down and gives you some focus.
Oh, I need that one for more than what I'm using it for.
Yeah.
I'm using it for, tell me if this is even also correct, but like when I'm trying to accomplish something, like I'm not a really competitive person by nature. But when I need that more competitive edge, or I'm like, or I'm trying to accomplish something, and if I have any like doubts or something, that's what I use it for, to kind of like boost my confidence to like accomplish things.
That's totally, it connects to that earth energy.
Okay.
So it's that like
so that is
safe.
still accurate.
It's safe, right?
Okay.
Like you connect to that power inside of you.
Oh, okay.
It's Tiger's Eye. I want to bring one up, Shungite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shungite is amazing. So there's a lot of EMF, right? Like we get EMFs all around us. Shungite will take in and dissolve EMF. So a lot of times people will have little shungites on the back of their phones to kind of block some of that energy. I will also tell you raw shungite, if you put it in water and let it just sit in the water, and then strain it. So don't drink the actual, like anything that comes out of it, but if you strain it with like a cheesecloth, that water now has shungite in it. So when you drink it, it actually clears out some of the EMF you may have inside of you.
Wow, I've seen that people have like the necklaces with like almost like a wheel, like a big one.
To keep it's just to keep you safe from that kind of energy. But shungite's great. I always use it in basically every session. Okay.
Oh, the other one is amethyst.
Amethyst.
Oh my gosh, my dream is to have one of those big amethyst butterfly wings.
Yeah.
Oh my God, every time I go into the store, I just sit there and I like just daydream. It's so beautiful.
Or buy a house.
I always tell them, I'm like, okay, when I win the lottery next week, I'm going to be calling for the shipment. Like, oh my God, so beautiful. If anybody out there wants to ship it to me.
Done. Address below. So what do you use amethyst for?
Intuition. And for me, I think I'm always very overly in solar plexus, overly in my head and my mental clarity and stuff. So that's always, and with anxiety and the ADHD. So I think you had told me like I need amethyst to kind of calm that.
Yeah, it's the opposite of It's the opposite. Sometimes you need to go to the opposite. Mm-hmm. The thing with amethyst is amethyst is super great for intuition. So if you're doing intuitive work, keeping it with you is always great. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I love it for is it helps with sleep. just because it calms down that whole, like, I've got to get everything done on my list, right?
Yeah.
If you're someone who has a lot of task lists, an amethyst
like
in your
lavender.
bedroom.
Like lavender too,
Exactly.
right? Like the
Same
scent.
concept.
Okay.
Same concept.
So it's more of like a calming confidence in a sense, I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Well, and that's where, when you're calm, you're connected, which is how you get your intuition.
Right, makes sense.
Right, so you need that, and that's what amethyst is great for.
Yeah. So those are just some...
Citrine.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have to talk about citrine.
Yeah,
because
I love
citrine is the
citrine.
wish one. If you want to make a wish or you want to connect with a wish, citrine or pyrite are great for just manifestation.
Okay.
They connect with that kind of God energy, that power. And one final thing that I want to talk about is when you're looking at crystals, the most important thing to recognize is that if it ends in an I-T-E, all right? So shungite, right? Quartzite. Any of the ITEs, do not use water on them. Water will destroy it. It'll just melt. There's also an app.
So those you don't want to sit out when you're like recharging them.
You can sit them out, just make sure
Make
there's
sure it
no
doesn't
rain.
rain. Okay.
Water is the big one.
So are there any other main ones, general ones for people to start with?
I think those are great. I really love the Golden Healer. Golden Healer is a great stone that kind of just, it heals kind of the heart, like the center chakras to me. And it just creates this nice vibe of just like level balance and healing and kind of reminding you that you can heal yourself.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
It's one of my most
I
favorites.
just started using that one.
It's a great
Love
one.
that one. Okay, so but if you're looking for something specific, people can just Google or go online and say like what crystal is good for XYZ, and you should get different options.
Yeah.
So when people get the crystals though,
Yes. Oh, great one.
right? So we want to cleanse them.
Cleanse them, charge them, and then set their intention, or the 3 things you want to do.
Okay, so how do we cleanse them?
Cleanse them, I always say use some type of sacred smoke, always the safest. So sage, Palo Santo, lemongrass, anything that has a smoke,
Okay.
use it, let the crystal kind of engulf by that smoke. I always personally say cancel, clear, release. It's something that my mentor taught me, and it just kind of gets my mind into the whole process of cleansing. Then once you cleanse it, you take it out. I always say full moon, new moons are great times to do this. Put them outside under the moon, allow the moon to just shine on it. I typically will tell you, for me, I leave it out for about 12 hours. So I'll put it out at 9 p.m. and get it at 9 a.m. Like that type of thing. Overnight is always good because it gets a little bit of sun, a little bit of moon.
Yeah.
And then once you get them, set their intention. Tell them what their job is. And I would recommend doing it for each crystal, right? So like a pyrite, my manifestation on this, thank you for making it happen. If it's I'm blanking out on the crystal, an amethyst, thank you for strengthening my intuition, or thank you for, helping me sleep through the night. Like, give it its intention.
Right.
And then I always tell people every 28 days, like, if you do it on a full moon, every full moon, just take your crystal out, cleanse, charge, and restate their intention. It helps it just know what it needs to do.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. And remember, ITE, no water.
Oh, last one, selenite.
Oh,
How do we forget
selenite.
selenite with recharging?
Selenite is great. So there's a lot of people say selenite is automatically recharging. It charges itself. It does. I personally include it with my crystals.
You charge that too.
I charge them every month.
But selenite, most people don't know, selenite will also help charge your crystals. So I
Yes.
actually have a selenite bowl, and I just place my crystals and jewelry and everything in there.
Yeah.
And I usually just like leave them overnight, or at least for a few hours or whatever.
Yeah, the longer that they charge, the better, right? Like, so that's I totally agree. Like with me and the selenite, I always charge my selenite under the moon, and then I have it in because when I'm working with people, I'll recharge it, the crystals for that specific person each time. So the selenite allows me to be able to do that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But that ends in ITE, so do not put it in water.
Right.
It's a big lesson. I didn't know it
I didn't
for a
know
long
either.
time, and I remember I had a crystal. I was like in my I think probably like 17, 18, I had my first crystal, and it was a selenite. And someone said, oh, you got to cleanse it. So I took it home and washed it, like, not knowing, and with soap and water. And then the next thing you know, it was like...
dissolved in your hands.
Oh, well, it's gone, and now I don't have a crystal anymore. So ITE is the biggest lesson I learned.
Yes, got it.
But definitely use them. It works. And remember, it's belief is half a being, right? So like if you believe it's going to work, it will work. Our bodies and our minds have the ability to make that happen.
It's the placebo effect.
It is. It will always work. So
Yep.
trust us, try it, have fun with it. And until next time, we'll see you.
Thank you.